Hello, my name's Ernie Moore Jr. Learny, Trumpet. A guy plays at a church. You know, he's been at it for years, so you get to meet him at a book study, and and they're expensive. It's interesting. So you ask about it, and he says he's got one type of thing. So needle and thread. So he's got five. He's got six. He's got five. He's got six. Now this is on borrow. I was told it was brass and it dents easy. So people are concerned about me using it a little bit. And then if it slips here, that'll just cinch that. So the idea is to have some sort of learning about a trumpet type of thing. Now I blew it the first time and I learned some things. You can't just blow it into this thing. The air just goes through. You have to, you got to do that a little bit. So it's like a bazooka. Kazoo. It's like a kazoo. It's got only so many combinations. So 1, 2, 1, 3. 2, 3. That's by itself. So if it's ordered, but if it's doing it in order, then it's 2, 1, 2, 3, 3, 1, 3, 2. So that's like 6 there. Then full down 7, 8. You got about 8. Hey, that's why we got so many do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Then this hook thing, like I presume it's where you latch it on, and then it's got a press thing here that releases something. That releases air somehow. So, if I get sound, so it's about learning trumpet from the trumpet. So, once I interrupt the airflow, by the way, without these things, without these keys, I'm on a flute. They have the thing, and it's like it holds down several things at one time. They didn't have that in original flutes, but in the nicer, fine things. In 2026, it's been decades. They have thingies that have keys. So I'm calling these keys. These are valves, probably. Like when you have a boiler. You have to be committed. It's like French, like speaking French. You have to be committed to play one of these. I try to play it soft, and so I don't necessarily understand the mechanics enough to do that. Ooh, there's 2 of these releases. Here's an air release, and here's an air release. So I don't necessarily know how to hold it. I use my palm heel over here on this ledge on the opposite them, and that way, and I use my thumb, I hook my thumb up underneath to well, not just so that it doesn't drop. This is going to get heavy on my finger. Again, this is brass, whatever that means. So I don't know how to clean it, per se. You know, at best I'll use a paper towel. You should get pipe cleaners. You might need to use combination pipe cleaner, paper towel, but you could also use kebab sticks. The kebab sticks, they're thin, and you could use that to you know, if you wrap it around the edge and you double something, double, triple, you make sure that the point part it can't puncture as you press. You make an effort. You can wrap it around once because it's a thin hole here. It's actually kind of thin, but this is a nicely made device, pretty much. Let's see, flums, Kurath, fabric. It seems like a fabrication. Also in a different language. It's a band instrument from Wilson type of thing. If it's stolen, oops, oh well. I have to return it to the person. I'm supposed to return it undamaged. Nonetheless, let's keep going. And I'm trying not to be loud for neighbor people who are the cars out front, so. So if I push my lips forward more, it's like if I insert my lips into this hole, and then here's the thing, they're still going to separate, and they're still if they're moist, they're going to do the spittle thing, but they're farther in. They're inserted farther in for greater insemination of my breathing. Breathing mixed with spittle. So, there's a sound when I don't do anything. There's a sound when I press. And then it transfers. So, if I could ever sustain a note, there's probably something between that I could do with a slow release here. A slow release might give you more gameplay with a trumpet type of thing by Ernie Moore Jr. Learny Ernie. See? You can blow and it doesn't blah blah blah. You run out of air, carbon dioxide. Astrophage will get into our bodies, and then from the movie story or the movie, it should be able to get, they don't mention it, but it should be able to get into a human body, eat up the carbon dioxide, and then make it so that we can't help the plants, and it will just there won't be enough carbon dioxide produced in the world, except for the burning that's causing the what do you call it? The burning that's causing the what they call global warming, which is a lie, because it's not equally the warming is not global, so that's not a truth. But it's a stream of heat thingy of lower industrialized people who have to burn things, and they're creating a lot of the blah blah blah, because the industrialized nations have caps and stuff and safety things. So you know, it's written out, you know, what letter alphabet you're playing, and in which combination type of thing. So you know, if you're studying, you can know that. But for just sound, this one's higher note, this one's lower note, farther away is lower. Like farther away is lower, kind of like Doppler effect. And you can do that. You can do that. Now I don't know what this does. It messes your, you know, it pushes pressure on your teeth. But so you don't want to necessarily press against your teeth. So you might want to tilt it down actually first, so that it doesn't you know, blare to everything, but you know, you want to do something, but you also want to hit the ground for the sound effects to hit, and then it'll disperse more if you're pointing it at something to bounce it off of, by Ernie Moore Jr. Now, do you just, now here's the thing, here's a question. Do you do the fingers, you know, just above, you know, in the middle section of your finger? Do you do that instead of the fingertips? Because you might miss with the fingertips, but if you want to hit it, you might do layover. I'm trying to see if when you make a kazoo, you can like make a different tone from your own vocal blah blah blah. So can I change, is it just breath goes through, spittle goes through, and it's automatic sound? Or do I contribute? Can I contribute to what's produced by, there's also a turny thing here that's got like an opening to something or other. Perhaps you can see it if you like two-timed the video or took a picture, screenshot it, and then looked closely. But somewhere in here there's an opening, it's a square, and this is a turn thingy. I don't know that it turns all that much, and I shouldn't turn it, but it's got it's serrated edge almost. It's like a quarter and a dime by Ernie Moore Jr., which is why we have those coins, by the way, that made that way. That's my thought. Safety first. Provide for the common defense. It's common sense. So I'm doing like a firm thing all the way across. Firm is what I'm looking at. It's got no commitment. It feels like it's got no commitment. That went higher. So I have to establish steadiness of some sort, and it's about frequency with my blah, 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 and it's like frequent. Okay, the vibration, the blah blah blah, the vibration. Yeah, it needs to be steady. So how do I produce a steady vibration? Now, I'm vibrating and things, and I'm vibrating, and it's not without diddling, and it's not making it. It's not it doesn't catch all the time. So there's something. Part of getting instruction is learning how to make the breath catch in the pipe, in the tube. Now I like the thing where I walked it back from front to front, play something, then slowly, like, like diminished it, and then we just had, a soft where we were like, it just like went to this place of pensiveness. We were just thinking, it's like, I'm not bothered with anything any of you all are doing. I am having a thought, and I'm looking at my thought, and I am with my thought. Now, you'll also note here, anyway, I don't know that I should explain, as if I'm bragging. It's not probably far, but you should know what I'm doing, but I'm presuming you know what is happening by hearing it. You know something is happening. So I'm learning to just establish a firm lip, blow out of the top and the bottom, and it makes a B, a thin B, not that big, not that fat, a thin B, and I'm being firm with my lip. So the fluidity, the flexibility of my lip, like a sail in the wind, is but that's not taut, and not taut all the way around. It wavers, but it wavers. So what happens is the air pushes against my lip, and if my lip fluctuates, it's not enough. So what we need to do is we need to direct the air. I know that's basic, but we have a lot of mechanism that we didn't understand is involved. This needs to be firm. This needs to be firm. This needs to be less firm. So what we're doing is stiff chin to relax, to less tense. I don't use my name is Ernie Moore Jr. I had Ernie Moore Jr.'s Kung Fu attempt, Squirrel. So I tried to make a Kung Fu. I had an interest, blah, blah, blah. It's more like exercises. It's basically breathing, because you can't make your own Kung Fu. So, needle and thread. However, the thing of it was, you cement yourself in up to your stomach. You moor yourself up to your stomach. But like a towel, you wrap a towel real tight, it gets very firm where you're holding it, but then it's like it gets a little bit less firm, it's a little more pliable, a little bit away from how the tight. Sometimes it gets less, but there's still firmness. It's founded. You need the foundation of firmness, and then you need to have the what you would call a looseness. I don't want to just throw out the words, that are static, everybody blah, blah, blahs. Because this is my experience, and I don't want to, ride anybody's coattails. Here we go. My name's Ernie Moore Jr. So, I like to put my pinky here and, clap it down on the side, on the front side. Like, it won't go forward, and it can't fall upwards. So like the 45 type of thing, degree, and the rest of it just fall where you can. And it's weird, I have one finger for each valve almost. It's not on the valve, maybe it's, nah, but it's like one's outside and then the other one's outside, and then this one picks somewhere in between, falls somewhere in between. That feels weird. I actually tuck it. I use my fingertips along this edge here. I tuck it, and we're all like peeking over the wall type of thing. By Ernie Moore Jr. playing the trumpet. Ernie learning trumpet. I got a day because they said I was told it was going to be given. I would like one. Do you have one to spare? And I always gets told that it's gal or the guy, the person says, I don't know. I did when I heard him, and I had the impression that I was going to get given one. That's nifty. I mean, blah, blah, blah. Let's play. Let's observe. No, let's experience by Ernie Moore Jr. I went into all that about firmness. Let's take a look. Now, just because I know what to do doesn't mean I understand how to execute that. Okay, be aware. Please be aware of that. And then I take the deep breath, and now I have to release it slowly. So I like to disperse what I have in here. I like to, stretch that stuff out because I've only got so much before I'm done with my notes. I had a thought. You might want to understand how many notes you can get out in your breath, which means when you know you're going to transition, if you keep count of, like if you can section your notes that you just played, or, I categorize things. So if, there's a segment, if you say, okay, I'm at this segment and I need to go to this other segment, you can feel, wow, I only have 8, I have 9 notes I can get out with this one. Depends on how fast you play too, how fast you trumpet, how fast you valve. So you need to find out the speed of your piece. And then you need to, there's a concept that, okay, for my breath capacity and my spit, breathing spit, how for my capacity to breathe spit, how much of this song can I get out before I have to take a breath again? And so what you want to do ideally, I don't know if it's possible depending on how the song is played, but you want to be able to die down, find a place to like curve it so that our ears know we should be taking a break, we should be resting, and you can breathe in. That's just a thought. Okay. So I'm drying out, but what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to re-wet this, but not leave spit on it. And then I don't have anything. So that means if you're going to dry out, you might want to have water in your mouth. You might want to have water so that when you run out of spit, or you want to have a button. You want to have button soup. You could swallow it and then you don't necessarily die. Make it a small button so it can pass. But you want something, not chaw, you don't want to introduce a solid that liquefies that you introduce into the tubature. So water, because water evaporates, and there are evaporates in the evaporation, so you can leave stuff in here and you can't necessarily clean it if you don't have proper equipment. So at least water, try to have, you only got the water available sometimes, but maybe if you say a bottle of water is pretty clear, let's just say that, let's just go with that. So you have a bottle of water, and you like wet it inside, and you keep a little bit in to help get you a little bit longer. It's just tips and tricks. I'm just looking at stuff. Yeah, so I'm peeking over the wall here, but you just want to listen. So it dies off. So at the end of my breath, so I can have a certain amount of breath and you can time it, but the last 4 seconds and the first 2-3 seconds are not given to you. So you need to take 7 seconds off of your air. Well, that's all we got for now. I got a phone call. Thank you, Ernie Moore Jr. So now it's about, we have that other part. Let's just play a little bit, because this is my last time to. So I asked if somebody who plays trumpet, has some, played for years, decades, and you have a trumpet, a spare trumpet. I got told they did. Why? And I went. It indicated I was interested to learn from the trumpet. See, once I had a tree in the backyard, and I had to they were going to pass the house over, but you needed to clear the backyard, including the tree. Before I chopped it down, I asked to learn from the tree, and I learned a style of kicking, a technique in kicking, which I've been using for a decade after, type of thing. So I had been, you know, or I started using, let's just say that. I don't do kicking the same way, and certainly not the same height. So I'm gonna try to, let's see what we get. I'm gonna tag this. If I tag this onto the other video, also this way, can I like affect so I can affect it. I can at least do 2 tones. Okay. I know you can, you know, if you with skill, you can do more tones, but at least you can do 2 tones. So it just went down a little bit. This is what, for some reason, it sounds like something's dying. This is one of those, it sounds like something's dying sound all the time. So, what's the difference? And you should look at this for yourself. What is the difference between it sounds like something dying sound to a pure tone? So you need to find out how to, when you get a trumpet, you know, you're going to get taught how. But what my observation is when I'm learning from the trumpet is that there might be a pure tone, and you might look to how to make that. So you don't have to blow hard. It is bubbling steady, but what your place needs to be placed and make the seal, and then as you then all air that comes out is the same air, a little bit. But you have to make. I don't know that you need moisture out here, but. So it's taking my kazoo voice and it's keeping my kazoo voice, and I don't seem to be I'm not, the vowels aren't seeming to affect my kazoo voice terribly much. Okay, now I'm going to practice not making as much contact and like separate, having an envelope, a space, even with air, so air gets in and you can breathe while you play the trumpet. So if you don't seal it off, you can let that space on both sides of your lip. If you just use an envelope and you just insert and there's space here, you can still breathe in while you're playing the trumpet, so you can get a little bit more out of it, maybe perhaps when you Now, Dizzy, Mr. Gillespie, he's got his cheeks out, chipmunks. So that's why I tried that technique. I'm going to try techniques that don't chipmunk. And I'm going to push my cheeks forward. Like, tighten that. Not like from the surround, but do that like in the inverse. Blocking, and then going forward. Block and push. I'm trying to make get beatboxers to learn to do trumpet. Real beatboxers, not the ones that are going viral with these modernized and they're winning these competitions that are digitalizing, monitorizing, patikatizing, pixelizing, macatizing with the audio, type of thing, where they're messing up with the. So, you might play with your pinky, your ring finger, and your middle finger, and hook underneath here if you were going to use these valves. So you might want to learn to use the last part of your hand. Where is that other valve? Okay. Since I can't get steady sound now, we can't tell what's going on. Maybe you can if you're, if you are a trumpet person. But at any rate, or you understand air and devices, machinery. So I'm just trying to get out something that expresses me, type of thing. I'm trying to look for steady, then I want to explore myself. This house has no gutters. We put curvy sheets at the bottom to protect the foundation with a high tilt type of thing, so nothing settles near the foundation. We don't need to have gutters. When we express, just now that almost sounds pure, so I have to find the right frequency to hold the tone, but still not getting much of effect out of these guys, these people. So the only one who's responsive to me is this one. So this is the only one we're going to play with, type of thing, by Ernie Moore Jr. And let's just milk it. Because it does sound like a animal vocalizing, the thing of it is, perhaps you can choose the language of the animal and make it talk. It doesn't necessarily say what you feel, but it has its own voice. Let it speak. So my more flappy buh 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 is picked up better by the farther away ones. So the ones that do deeper sound, so each one of these handles a different set of vibrations type of thing. So that also means that a real trumpet player might, or as you explore playing trumpet, you might alter your vibrations. Pinky hook. So I can like do a little bit more, or hold it, you know, have a little bit more play. Now your thumb, you gotta wedge it in there if you're gonna do that. Then you're holding it by just your thumb and your blah blah blah. But I think it's gonna play weird. So you should watch when the sound changes. I think it changes when it changes, but it's not. It doesn't change at the same place. But so there's a down and there's an up, and at some point you can get the other. So I've got 4 seconds of gameplay here. Yeah, it's a little bit nicer being able to just hold it with one hand. See, they don't affect, this one's not affecting, it's not affect, the vowels are not affecting. So how can you breathe out, put air in, and it's not, so the sincerity of my breathing is not communicating with the valves. When my breath is sincere by Ernie Moore Jr., then the valves will interact with me. So the front of my mouth is not working out, but maybe there's a place there's a configuration where my lips have a particular strength on the side. So the valve only works if the breath, it's not even the breath, if the vibration is steady. If the vibration is not strong enough, if there's not enough frequency in the wave signature, then the valve can't cut it, type of thing. I'm basically playing this as a kazoo, and I'm exploring lip things, and I'm changing to do something different that might get me something, and I'm fishing around. But I'm not playing with my moisture. I'm playing dry. So apparently I don't have enough commitment to make a trumpet work, you know, as good as it gets. But what you're hearing from me and my understanding and ability is whatever you think of it, it's as good as it gets. So always give 100% type of thing, a little bit. Always give 100%. Understanding your 100% isn't going to necessarily produce the same amount of logs as somebody else's 100%. But that doesn't mean you're not equal in that you both gave. You came to the office and you gave. If you're gonna go to the office, give. If you're gonna step on stage. I don't know. I don't know what stage people need. Is my holding the trumpet odd? Can that affect it? Now, how much of my mouth goes on this? That's a question. I have theories. I didn't video look to see technique because I'm learning from the trumpet. I have the trumpet. Ernie Moore Jr. So we're getting different sound from how I'm blowing, which means that you can make this thing blah 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 by how you issue the either the breath or the intensity. It's not intensity. It's like some of you out there can hear it. How close am I to getting something right? So I hear a variety, which means I'm crossing lines. I'm walking the frets, but I think I'm doing something that's one thing. However, this thing is reading me. If I come across something that I think is nice, I'm probably going to caress that. So I think I've found some nice things. I cannot execute enough to make it what we all would call musical type of thing. Well, you know, just whatever you think about what's happening here, academics wise. But so I'm just gonna go out playing in all seriousness. Thank you for showing up. Always show up. In your life and in the lives of others. With consideration to yourself and to them. Not a comment. Battery's going out. Cards fall where they... No more words. Feel it. Express with consideration. Don't necessarily keep them pressed down like I'm doing. You do want to like clear it. You want them to be able to spring back. So don't miss the spring by compression. Let that thing breathe. Let it breathe. Let it bounce back. Probably. I mean, initially. That's the thought. Ernie Moore Jr.